It is 5:40. I'm calling the meeting to order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. GL Chapter 38, Section 18, and Governor Healy's March 29th, 2023 revised order extending remote participation by all members any meeting of a public body. This meeting of the Select Board will be conducted both in person and via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and our parties with a right and a requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town website. Committee members and members of the public may attend this meeting in person or remotely. Instructions for remote participation can be found at the top of the agenda. Every effort will be made to ensure that those attending remotely can access the proceedings in real time via technological means. Pursuant to MGL 7C 30A, Section 20F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may make a video or audio recording of an open session of a meeting of a public body, may transmit the meeting through any medium. Beginning of the meeting, the chair shall inform other attendees of any such recordings. So this meeting is being recorded by the town of Great Barrington, by the Berkshire Edge and the Berkshire Eagle, among others. Any member of the public wishing to speak at the meeting must receive permission of the chair. The listing of agenda items are those recently anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and there are other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Next, we will convene into executive session and we will return to open session. Executive session under MGL Chapter 38, Section 21A3 for the following purpose: to discuss strategy with respect to potential litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, which I do. So do I have a motion?
I move that the board meet in executive session pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A3 for the following purpose: to discuss strategy with respect to litigation threatened against the town concerning the December 8th, 2023 complaint and police department response to the WEB Du Bois Middle School.
Second.
It's a roll call vote. Ben? Aye. Garfield?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And I, and we will return to open session as soon as this is done, as the executive session is done. So my. Okay, we will reconvene back into open session. Select board's announcements or statements, Ben? Garfield? Eric?
Yeah, just wanted to say, you know, with all the April showers, it looks like plenty of flowers are coming up through downtown. I want to say thank you for the DPW and the new landscaping position, because you can see a lot of that work is paying off. And then just the other day, driving down Main Street, looks like the new trees going down the Main Street are really starting to take hold, and the flowering on them, it's been pretty impressive. And even the work they've done in Housatonic on the top of 4 Depot Street looks pretty good, all the flowers. And then again, everybody else's too, driving on the streets. It's some pretty impressive gardens out there. So just wanted to comment on that.
Thanks, Eric. Lee?
I know.
And I have nothing.
I'm attached, Mr. Bennett. It's town council approved these.
Yeah, we're not doing that. It's not on us. We'll talk about it later. Approval of minutes. Do you have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2024 and April 8th, 2024.
And I recuse myself from the April dates.
Any second?
Yeah, second.
Any discussion? So let's do one at a time. Let's do March 25th first.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Next one.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of April 8th, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Hands are accused, all in favor?
Uh,
It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Town manager's report.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Houston Waterworks, I just wanted to mention tonight that reimbursement checks for anyone that applied for relief funding should be mailed out soon. About 110 or so applications have been approved for payment as of today. And for anyone that would still like to apply and hasn't already, it's one reimbursement per household up to $300. A fillable PDF application can be found on the select board's webpage. Or you can pick up a paper copy here at town hall during regular working hours. Or even after hours on evenings when we have meetings, since they're available downstairs in the main lobby. Also, I wanted to mention that our financial study being conducted by VPC Engineering is still underway. I meet with them every few weeks just to check in on the status, and everything is moving a little slower than anticipated, but it's still moving. Annual town meeting, I just wanted to remind everyone one final time, this is our last meeting before next Monday's annual town meeting at the high school. That will start at 6 p.m. You can find the warrant, the proposed budget, and a budget overview all posted on the homepage of our website. Transportation will be available. Our micro transit program will be providing rides that evening to and from town meeting. And the program director is suggesting that anyone interested book those rides in advance by Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And you can call 413-591-3826 to book a ride to and from town hall. Childcare details I'll have to share at a later date. I'm just waiting to confirm that with the school district, but all of this information I just shared now will be shared again on our social media pages. And then I wanted to add one last unanticipated update tonight, and that's that anyone living in the Bridge Street, Bentley Ave, Humphrey Street area probably received a fact sheet earlier today that looks like this. They were shared by staff at the event, just informing them that some soil sampling and drilling work at the former log home site will be getting underway soon, I believe, later this week. So drilling will not begin before 8 a.m. They're going to comply with our noise bylaw, and they will conclude by 5:30 p.m. each day. Any equipment used on the site will be decontaminated before leaving the site. And then based on the soil sampling results from that testing, the EPA will decide what, if any, cleanup actions are necessary. So I'll have to come back to you with some results in about 45, 50 days or so when they have that information to share.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay, licenses and permits. Please have a motion for the spring license renewals. There's two of them, one of them. Here.
Yes, so I move that in accordance with the Great Barrington Town Code, chapter 146, section 5J, that the following real estate agencies will be approved for an annual real estate license,
Real estate signs.
real estate signing license. Alden Country Real Estate Services, I have to say the address. Barnbrook Realty Corporation, Berkshire Property Agents, Cohen and White Associates, Great Barrington LLC, Helen Mulaney Real Estate LLC, Housatonic Real Estate, Lance Vermillion Real Estate, The Caro Real Estate, Roberts and Associates Realty, Stonehouse Properties, Wheeler and Taylor Realty Company, and William Pitt Sotheby's International Realty.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Do I have a motion?
I move that in accordance with the Great Barrington Town Code, chapter 109, section 2, that the following organization be approved for renewal of their annual outdoor corn-operated soft drink and food machine license, Wind in the Pines.
Second?
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Next, yeah,
Oh, sorry, I wanted to mention that there are a few business owners in town that staff is still chasing for real estate and coin operated vending machines. So you may see a couple more of these trickle in over the next few weeks.
next is an application for a special farm winery license, 9 Pin Cider Works, 32 Lerner Street, Albany, New York, for sale and sampling at the Great Barrington Farmers Market, 18 Church Street, from May 11th, 2024 until November 11th, 2024, 9 AM through 1 PM. And,
Jake, your mic is open.
yeah,
Thank you. Hi. So we'd like permit again this year to sell cider at the farmer's market where we attend and sell our produce as well.
how many years have you done this?
We've been at the Great Barrington Farmers Market for 5 years. We sold this hard cider for the last 3 years.
Perfect. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the application from Special Warren Farm Winery, 9 Pit Cider Works for sale and sampling at the Great Barrington Farmers Market from May 11th, 2024 until November 11th, 2024, from 9 AM to 1 PM.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Application for a common victualer's license, No Comply Foods, 258 Stockbridge Road. Now, let's see. You here?
See Steve on the line.
I don't see him in the audience. Do I have a motion?
Rest of that was done.
The next one is.
Oh, next one.
Next.
I make a motion that we approve the application for a common victualler license, No Comply Foods, 258 Stockbridge Road, GB.
Second?
Is there anyone here from them?
They are not.
That has always been a problem for me. It's important enough that I think they should still. So, I don't approve.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so 4, and Garfield, you're a no?
Correct.
Okay. D is withdrawn, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Application for a 1-day all alcohol license, Railroad Street Youth Project Culinary Dinner Celebration Fundraising Event, 17 Seacount Road, Great Barrington, May 18th, from 5:30 PM to 8:30 PM. Is anyone here for that?
Andrew.
Yeah. there he is.
I've lost my list.
Andrew, go ahead if you want to tell us what you're doing right there.
Yeah, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Yeah, so every year we have a big fundraising event, a celebration of youth accomplishments. It's the culmination of an 8-week apprenticeship. And so the culinary dinner is the last part of that. And yeah, it's a great event, and I got the invitation here, and if anyone wants to come, just shoot me an email.
Great. Do I have a motion?
I move that we apply the application for a 1-day all alcoholic license to Railroad Street Youth Project Culinary Dinner Celebration Fundraising Event on May 18th, 2024, from 5:30 PM to 8:30 PM.
Second?
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Application for a 1-day beer and wine license, Bard College at Simon's Rock. 2-day alumni reunion event, 84 Alford Road, May 31st, 2024, from 12 PM to 11 PM. And June 1st, 2024, from 12 PM to 11 PM. Someone here?
Daniel's.
Yes.
You want to just give us a little overview?
Yeah, this is our alumni reunion weekend. We'll be having meals throughout the weekend with hopefully beer and wine and cocktails. One day it will be lunch and dinner, and the following day it will be breakfast, like a mimosa breakfast.
Perfect. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the May 31st and June 1st, 2024 1-day beer and wine licenses for Bard College at Simon's Rock as presented, with the condition that any and all outstanding sewer fees be paid in full before the license is granted by the Selectboard / Town Manager's Office.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion? All in favor?
So
Yes.
I
Unanimous.
don't
Go
know
ahead.
anything about the sewer fees. Is there a way to get information about that to pass along to my business office? This is
Your
not.
business
something I would
office,
deal with.
I guarantee your business office knows about
Okay,
it. We don't issue any licenses without full payment of sewer and taxes or any outstanding licenses and permits. That's a
Great.
standard.
That's,
So
I
you're-
mean, that's fine, I understand. Can I get some information about how I'm supposed to follow up with you?
Daniel, you can reach out to my office. 528-1619 extension 2900, and I'll connect you with this right staff and down.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Public hearing, a poll petition. Order number 308-75972. Petition by National Grid and Verizon New England, Inc. to install one JO pole on Van Duzenville Road, beginning at a point approximately 1,175 feet north. The center line of the intersection of Division Street. National Grid request to install a new 40-foot class 2 midspan pole number 6-50 on the public way of Van Duzenville Road for new service to customer property. 12 Van Duzenville Road, and permission to lay and maintain underground laterals, cables, and wires in the above or intersecting public ways for the purpose of making connections with such poles and buildings as each of said petitioners may desire for distributing purposes. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And a roll call vote, so Ben?
Aye.
Garfield?
Right.
Lee?
Aye.
And I. So an explanation of the project, come on up. I didn't, but I saw Lee. So. Thank you.
Hello, I am Steve Hare with National Grid. I have some visuals if anyone's interested from the board.
Sure, you went to the trouble of doing, we'll look at it.
So the first couple pages there, you're probably familiar with. But the last few are ones that I did today, so I'll have to share. And I have another packet if anyone from the crowd is interested. But essentially, that was a long blurb you read there. So essentially, we're looking to add one more pole on Van Duzenville Road, and that new pole will service the property of 12 Van Duzenville Road. I'm here to answer any questions.
This is incredibly helpful, having this visual, so I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, true. We'll start with public comments to speak in favor or opposed. Question from the select board.
I can give a little more information just for the record on exactly what this pole will be serving and kind of why it's being requested.
Sure, so there's a new residence going in at 12 Van Duzenville Road, and this new pole will provide the electric for that house.
Any other questions? A motion to close the public hearing,
So moved.
second,
Second.
roll call, Ben?
Aye.
Garfield?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And I. Select board discussion? Don't think there's much.
No.
So a motion to grant the poll petition.
So moved. That does say the whole.
That's fine. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's actually roll call. Sorry, Ben,
Oh, sorry. Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next, a special permit 942-24, continue from April 8th, 2024. Application from Bear Mountain. Oh, yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
I would have remembered when. Application from Bear Mountain 320 Properties, Timberland Heights Care Center to construct an addition on the existing nursing home at 320 Maple Avenue, Great Barrington. Filed per section 3.1.4 B10 and 10.4 of the zoning bylaw. Motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I. It's unanimous. I believe we're now at the stage where the applicant, you have some changes from what we have proposed, was proposed last time?
I'd just like to introduce Nick Elton, the project architect, who can explain those changes.
Thank you.
So I just promoted Nick, but I'm not seeing him. Oh, there he is.
There it comes. It's on your screen, it's not on ours.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm gonna try to share screen.
All right, you should be good now, Nick.
Okay, can everybody see the screen? I'm sharing
no.
screen one.
No,
Yep.
Okay, I don't understand. This happened last time too.
it
Really
did.
sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I have a whole presentation that I've made for you. I presume you all
Okay.
have hard copies of that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what to do here. Try one more time, sorry.
That's okay. You figured it out last time. Take your time. There we go.
Okay. So, thank you, members of the board. I appreciate the time to be able to present this project. As you know, last time I presented the project in general. So, there were two areas of concern that were raised in a significant way. One was the site drainage from the two from the two neighbors at 350 and 370 Maple Avenue. And I believe Mark Lavessier is there today. What we did was we presented to you data on the diminution of drainage, and we did meet with the clients a week ago Friday on site. And at your request, we demarcated the perimeter of the site and we demarcated all the trees to be proposed. There was originally 57 or 58 trees to be removed. We then marked about 8 or 9 trees that we now think we can save with a red marker, with a red spray paint. And we did, as I said, we banded all the trees to be removed. So, so we're reducing the number of trees proposed to be removed from 57 to 48. And we met with the 3 neighbors, including Rick Emerson, who I believe is the one that was the closest abutter at 350, and discussed the placement of trees. So what you see in front of you is an image of the proposed building, the existing building, the proposed building. The red are the trees that are being proposed to be removed, and the outline shows the perimeter of the site. The Rick Emerson's house is down here, and the other abutters' houses are down here and here. So we superimposed this on a Google aerial photo, as you can see, and the only area that we're proposing to impact are the areas that are outlined, and you can see that the areas south of the service road and much of the area north of the service road, we're also not proposing to impact in any way, shape, or form. So this is a drawing of the site plan with the proposed building superimposed. And again, the perimeter is shown here in the darker outline. I believe you've been to the site, so perhaps you've seen this. And the drawing and the trees that are outlined in blue are now trees that we're proposing that are within the limit of construction perimeter that we're now proposing that we believe we can save. And the trees that are outlined in orange are trees that are currently dead or very close to dying, which I believe is a total of 18 out of all the trees that we're proposing to remove. So a lot of those trees, those trees are either dead or are very close to, or very distressed. This is the same drawing, but it's in a bigger scale, just to, again, show you the trees, the blue trees that we're now proposing to save, and the trees that are dead and dying. The next drawing shows a sort of cartoon-esque version of trees that we are now proposing to add. in response to the concerns from the two neighbors, from the three neighbors. So the trees that are the blue trees are the trees that we're proposing to save. And since these three neighbors are all located to the west, southwest, we're proposing to increase the number of trees on the west-southwest area of the site to create a fuller screen. And we are proposing to make all those trees conifer trees, evergreen trees, so that they will not lose their leaves in the winter and will maintain greater degree of screening. And we have included in here a landscape drawing that shows the modified tree proposals, and it also has a modified tree schedule to address the situation. To be candid, what we have done is we've removed a few of the trees on the other ends of the site that are less visible to the public, or because we were actually originally struggling to get in 69 trees, which is a lot of trees. So we have taken some trees that are more on the eastern and northeastern corner of the site and shifted them more to the southwest corner of the site. This has been submitted to you. So again, this is the rest of the landscape architect's drawings. And we also created two sections. The surveyors were able to ascertain that the existing trees have an average of height of 77 feet. So we created two site sections, one from in front of 370, which is the section that you see here. So if a person is standing on the road from 370, the height of the trees when they're leafed out are totally screened out, even with just the existing trees. And we're showing some of the proposed trees that we're proposing to add in this area. And we did the same thing further out in the field, which was the area that, as you're driving in from the west to see it, again, you can see that the screening at 77 average. Some of these trees are 35 feet, 40 feet, but other trees are between 90 and 100 feet. So we were also asked about drainage. So there are 4 civil drawings that speak to drainage, specifically this drawing, which is, I think, C200, has notes during construction in terms of storm drainage. And all these civil engineering drawings make significant reference to drainage and what we're doing in terms of drainage. So they've been previously submitted to you, and Mark Levessier is there. So in a minute, I'm going to ask him to speak to these. These are some of the details that specifically deal with drainage and storm drainage. And then finally, there was a storm drainage report. We took the portion that dealt with drainage and storm drainage, and it specifically has towards the end the reduction in runoff during a 2-year storm, a 5-year storm, a 25-year storm, and a 100-year storm. And in all cases, the runoff to the abutters is reduced beyond what they have now. So as opposed to their concerns where they think that they were concerned that it might be increased, it is generally reduced. And I guess just for a minute, in terms of this particular issue, I'm going to turn the meter. I believe Mark is there, so I'd like to ask Mark to address this situation. And if he has particular drawings that he wants me to bring up, happy to do it.
Well, with that, sir, most I can answer this. I went through these plans, I think everyone, maybe, one gentleman was there, last meeting. I can go through real quick if you'd like again. Pretty much we're collecting the existing roof drainage and the proposed roof drainage, as well as the courtyard area, all new pervious surfaces going into an infiltration system that is designed to recharge to maximum extent practical. Yeah, right there. And then any overflow is, conveyed to a large water quality basin down below, right there with Sean. Like you said, the peak discharge rates, for all storm events analyzed have been reduced, as much as 20%. Erosion controls are also shown on the plan, construction phase, sedimentation traps. And then again, there's a lot of details that go with the stormwater, that show, the out control device that handles all the different storm events, and all the inverts are on the plans. So a lot of specifics on the plans, and as I mentioned last time, the conservation has also approved these plans. I think we're just waiting for the certificate of lower conditions. Haven't seen that yet, but anyways, then like Nick said, there's all the construction phases, and for the notes, and there's some details for contact and chamber. The stormwater report is per the Mass DEP standards, and it's pretty detailed. I don't know if it was included in, I don't think it was included in the original packet. It was included with the notice of intent to the conservation person. So I'm happy to go through any of the calculations, but this two-page summary that Nick's on here pretty much concludes what we analyzed for the drainage, the drainage analysis. And so I think that was really it on my end for stormwater, at least, unless anyone's got any questions.
So we'll start with public comments on the new material presented. And then we'll go with select board discussion. After we close the public hearing, but I'll do it before and after. So anyone from the public have anything to say, either for or against?
Walter Atwood from 370 Maple Avenue. We met with the gentleman from the nursing home and with the protection. We're quite happy with what they're doing. We'd just like to make sure that the diameter of the trees that they're putting in are at least 5-inch diameter. Other than that, very happy. They're very accommodating, and it's most likely a benefit to the community.
Thank you. Anyone else? Don't see anyone in the audience, Stephen.
No.
Okay, I'll let the select board ask questions. And then we'll close the public hearing. So any questions?
Yeah, I guess, just specifically on the trees and it's hard for me to pick it out, because I know it's labeled on these prints, but it's a little small. But the trees that were being placed strategically to block the view of the building. I'm curious we've heard the request for a 5-inch diameter. What specific tree are we planting there? I know you're saying it's an evergreen, but do we have a certain variety that we're calling out, or?
Yes, is the short answer. And it's gonna take me just a second. Sorry. I apologize.
No problem.
Okay, so,
Yes, basically that line of trees, I see that you have it written there, I just,
right, like over here, you can see it says 5
Yeah.
PS. And PS is a white pine. So there are 16 white pines being proposed. And their size is 7 to 8 feet. So they're not by caliper.
7, 8 feet, I don't think that gets us to the 5-inch diameter, and I mean, if I'm thinking of a white pine, I don't know that I'm thinking that is a tree that's blocking view. I mean, I know they grow to be a very tall tree, but.
How about the ones that right are in front? there?
Yeah, the ones
That's
in the
what we're really
front
interested
section,
in.
right, yeah, right around through there.
I'm just trying to, sorry. Yeah, I think most of those are the cypress, Atlantic white cypress, again, 7 to 8 feet.
We can put conditions on it.
I mean, we're doing a mix there of the cypress, the cedar, and the pine. That's what we're using on that end of the site. We're not doing all of one kind of tree because we want to mix it up in terms of the aesthetics and also in terms of the species variety. I think the landscape architect indicated that would be a preferable approach.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I understand that, Race Mountain, I guess, is going to monitor the trees, is that what I'm understanding? Also,
That is-
go
That
ahead.
is correct.
How high how tall are the trees, 7 to 8 feet, you're saying?
The trees that are proposed to be planted are 7 to 8 feet, yes.
Okay, and you said the blue trees, the ones that have the blue are going to be saved, not taken down?
That is correct.
Okay.
And I don't know, I don't know if you had a chance to be on the site, but I marked those with a red spray paint.
Yeah. I have some concern with the replacement of the trees. Let's say the tree gets to be 10 feet and it needs, for some reason, guys needs to be replaced. And I know white birch is a difficult tree. They never get very big and they have a tendency to die sooner than other trees. Are they gonna be replaced with the same tree? Is it gonna be the same height? Or are we gonna have to wait again for another 8 years for it to grow?
I'm sorry, I thought the trees that we were discussing were the cypress, the cedar, and the pine.
Right, I asked about the white birch. Gentleman, I don't remember the gentleman's name, he told me there'll be white birch there as well. Is that not the case?
Actually, if I think you've been misinformed because there's no birch listed in the proposed trees.
Okay. With one die, will it be replaced with the same tree, same size, or you gonna, again, will it be 6 area? I remember at one point you were talking about having some pretty short trees. So are they gonna be replaced with another 7-foot tree?
I think we would be willing to make the commitment to say, at least in the 5-year period, we'd be willing to try to place with the same size tree.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
I'm just really happy. This is a great example of cooperation and coming together to compromise. So I think everyone on both sides, and this is a very, very clear plan. And as Buddy mentioned, I think it's a huge benefit to the community. So I'm very happy that we found a way to move forward. So thank you.
So,
I guess if I would like to make sure that the 5-inch diameter is met.
for that front line.
For that front
green,
line
yeah,
of trees,
I agree.
just because I understand 7, 8 feet, but the diameter and the fill out of the tree is important in that front section immediately, and the rest I understand will grow up into place, but that first shield that's important.
Okay.
My other question would be, I thought it was a 10-year maintenance program the last time.
I also thought that too.
I think that's correct. I think that's correct.
We'll change what our findings are.
Yeah.
It's a
Can I-
5-year, yes, go ahead.
Sorry, can I respond? So,
Of course.
I personally met with the 3 abutters and spent quite a bit of time with Rick particularly. And I also phoned him last week just to make sure he'd gotten everything that we'd said. So this 5-inch request is new for me. I mean, that was not made last week. I understood that it was new for me this evening, but I understood that when you met earlier at his home, he suggested somewhere between 4 and 6 inches. And I have put in very mature, I put in 6-inch caliper trees, for instance, and the expense rockets up. I mean, it just becomes incredibly much more expensive just because the root ball is significantly bigger and the transport and the survival, they get expensive because their survival rate begins to become more difficult when you're trying to transplant such a large tree. So, my understanding is that, that he mentioned somewhere between 4 and 6 inches. And I'd be feeling more comfortable if I could commit to trying to provide a selection of trees in the designated area that are between 4 and 6, as opposed to 5, if that's acceptable.
But between 4 and 6, yeah, that's fine. I'm sure if it's okay with the board, that's better than 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's, anyone have any other questions? Let's close the public hearing, and then, Mark will take us through the, findings, and we'll have the vote.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Lee. And I. Mark, do you want to guide us through this?
Sure, I won't read the general findings, if that's okay with the board, I'll skip right to the 6 findings here.
Yeah, that's what we need to talk about.
Okay. Finding 1 is social, economic, or community needs which are served by the proposal. And the findings in front of you tonight read as follows: the proposal serves the community's needs by improving the functionality, safety, and aesthetics of a 50-year-old structure, and retains the needed healthcare and rehabilitation center serving brain injury patients. The proposal uses an existing developed site to provide needed community services and employment. And I would say and is in harmony with the master plan.
Anyone want to add, subtract, or discuss that? Number 2.
Number 2, traffic flow and safety, including parking and loading. There are no existing traffic or safety issues, and the proposal will generate an insignificant increase of 1.6 additional vehicle trips per hour. The proposal will improve pedestrian access, visitor access, and emergency access around and within the building.
Any discussion on that? Move to number 3.
Adequacy of utilities and other public services. The facility is served by the water and sewer system, which have adequate capacity for existing and proposed use. There are no utility or public service issues.
Anyone? Number 4.
Neighborhood character and social structures. The site is already a nursing home facility permitted in its residential zone by a previous special permit. The proposed expansion will have no changes on neighborhood character or social structures.
Number 5.
Impacts on the natural environment. The proposal will have an overall benefit on the natural environment and will mitigate existing stormwater problems by building a new stormwater management system, extensive new landscape plantings, and we're going to change that to 10-year tree maintenance program to ensure the health and viability of the new trees. As viewed from public roads and locations, the new structure will not be intrusive and may not be visible at all.
Would we add, is this where we would have the 4 to 6 or?
No, I
I think
think
in the finding.
that would be on the finding.
Was it financial?
I mean,
In the motion. We could add it.
I think you're going to vote on the findings as amended, so I would say amended now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we would add, Lee, what have you written down?
I said, with the condition that the front line of trees have at least, have a diameter between 4 to 6 inches.
And that when trees are replaced, they're replaced by a similar sized tree.
Excuse me, I'm not sure I can speak, but we're
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
talking about those screening trees on the southwest
We are,
section,
yes,
not all the trees, right?
No,
Correct.
just the front line.
just a screening.
Can you make that clear?
Sure.
Yeah.
What would you like me to say?
I think Mark had that.
I think that- okay, we have it.
You did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything
Thank
else
you.
to add to that? Yeah, no problem. Number 6.
Number 6, potential fiscal impact, including impact on town services, tax base, and employment. The proposal will increase the tax base and employment. and the proposed additional beds are not expected to cause a significant increase in medical or public safety needs.
Okay, and the finding is in consideration of these findings, the select board finds that the benefits of the proposal outweighs detrimental impacts. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the findings of fact for special permit 942-24 as amended and referenced as exhibit A.
Second.
Discussion.
I just have a question, and it may not be appropriate, I don't know, but when they're stating the, people in the care at that place, we were told it was traumatic brain injury and a behavioral problem. Here it just, says traumatic brain injury. I don't know if they need to be both stated or not.
I don't think it
Okay,
matters, yeah, it's a good point. I don't think it matters.
okay.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Eric, Lee,
Aye.
and I, and the vote on the special permit.
I move in view of the approved findings of fact to approve special permit 942-24 to permit an addition to the nursing home at 320 Maple Avenue.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Lee, and I, it's unanimous, and it has passed. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. We appreciate it. Thanks very much. Bye.
Steve, I'm going to recuse myself as I'm an employee of this next applicant.
And I may remember this time to get you out of the hole. Just walk by and that's.
Was that Nick?
There you go. Thanks. Triplex Cinema Inc. application for amendment to change or alteration of premises to an all alcoholic liquor license at 70 Railroad Street, Great Barrington. Motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Roll call, Garfield.
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. An explanation of the project and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Sam Handel, and I am on the board of directors and treasurer for Triplex. First of all, thanks for having us on the agenda tonight. I appreciate it. I know you're busy. So I'll just give you some of the details of the alcohol service and expand on what's in the application. Just go through our staff setup and vision for this. So the present staff that we have sort of employees at different levels. There's a part-time sort of teenager level. Then we have supervisors and operations director who are in the process of hiring now, and an operations manager. Everyone who is 18 or older is and will continue to be TIP certified. Every shift will include an operations director or supervisor on the floor to oversee the bar program, manage the inventory, and monitor the service. Our application is to alter the setup. We'd like to expand to the patio. We'd like to have 40 total seats, consisting of 5 4 tops and 10 2 tops. All tables to be located within a line of sight of the concessions counter. If you're familiar with the building, there are windows facing forward from the counter and off to the left as well. All the tables that feature the diagram in the application, all the tables would be within a direct line of sight. So that if someone's working the concession stand, they can see outdoors. In addition to that, the operations director or manager supervisor would, have an outdoor presence. And the concessions employees, when the shows are in, we tend to have a little bit of a rush getting a show seated. Once the show is seated, they sort of clean the lobby and theater, and then they'd expand out into the patio and have a presence there as well. All of our offerings, as far as beer and wine and cocktails, are in cans, and we plan to continue offering that way. to, limit, trash and the possibility of breakage. And we would of course include additional trash and recycling receptacles outside. We'd like to have signage placed at the end of the patio saying that alcohol can't leave the premises. And we'd be happy to install boundaries to reinforce. There's, as you know, sort of entrances on the ends and also a staircase. So there's the three sort of points of entry. And we have the barrier around the patio on the top, sort of double bar. I don't know what you'd call it, a barrier.
Yeah.
Let's see. As far as the vision, our new tenant, Josh Irwin, is opening Juju's, a fast casual restaurant in the space, our rental space to the left as you're facing the theater. And we've opened the wall between the two spaces. And he has sort of graciously foregone liquor license as a gesture of support to the triplex. As you know, movie exhibition is a little bit uncertain at this time, so he's offering sort of that revenue stream to us. And we'd like to be able to expand the service so that if someone comes in for a meal, that they have access to the full menu, whether they're seated in the lobby or outside on the patio. And in addition to that, we have a general mission to be a community hub and a place of sharing of ideas, gathering, similar to our neighbors across the parking lot who have some sort of cafe culture going on. The idea of a gathering space where people can, see a movie, come out, share ideas, discuss, have a glass of wine, that kind of thing. And so we kind of see the entire bar program that we already have and the expansion as a sort of enhancement of the theater experience, certainly not our core business. Our core business is the our movie theater where we don't want to be a bar, but we'd like to encourage people to use the space as a gathering space and have a meal with access to those beverages. So I think that about covers it. So I think if there's not gonna welcome any questions you might have.
I have some questions.
Yeah, I guess, this sounds great. I love the setup there. Can just discuss, it's just strictly on the patio, or I think in one of the pieces of paper here said something that it's gonna extend to the lawn off to the side.
The application includes off to the side in front of Juju's. So as for our table service, we are looking at stopping before we get to that round box office as you're facing the theater. But I don't know if you've seen any of the programming that we're offering. We do a lot of special events and that kind of thing. So we wanted to kind of reserve the right if we have a special event in summer outdoors, something like that, that we would be permitted to use that space. But as far as the table service, everything would be in view of those windows, which doesn't extend beyond either box office. I don't know if you have a good picture of it.
It's all gonna be contained in theory between the box office. Sometimes you're saying it might extend in front of.
I don't
Just
see us
stay on the
extending
patio.
service as a matter of regular service, but the possibility in the future or a special event where there's a speaker, a fundraiser, that kind of thing. Be able to use the entire patio.
The entire patio, I guess, so just to be clear, we're nothing to, like, say I'm coming down into the driveway and there's the lawn there. Last time I had looked, there was like some garbage containers.
I think the lawn is included in the application, but we certainly wouldn't use it without any kind of barriers or anything like that. But we did kind of prepare the application to include, space that we might be able to use in the future.
Yeah.
But we don't have any current plans to use that space regularly.
Oh.
I don't know if this is outlined or not, but is there going to be some way that people will have to check IDs even before they get out to the patio? And I wouldn't mind having a second check, just like they do at the dispensaries, where they check at the door and then they check you again as you come in. That'd be just a nice little safety thing for myself. And if there is an issue out on the patio, if you will, who handles that, how is that?
Well, I'm not familiar with how the dispensaries do it. This wouldn't include table service. So all of the service would still happen at the counter. So there would be a tip certified, minimum 18-year-old employee at the concession counter. If you're facing it, it's just to the right where the alcohol service would be. At that point, once the customer decides that they want to sit inside, or in the case of this application being approved, sit outside, there's supervision, the responsibility of supervision ultimately falls ultimately on the operations manager or operations director or supervisor level employee. But I don't have current knowledge of a plan to have a second ID check, but I could look into that and get back to you.
I wouldn't mind that. Also, you might have someone who just comes up and wants to join your buddies. You're gonna have to know how old they are. You're not gonna obviously stop at the concession stand and then join their buddies. So it would be nice to know someone will be checking in case that indeed does happen, and I'm sure it will.
Anyone else? Anyone from the public to speak in favor or opposition or questions? Go right up there.
I'm Josh Irwin. I'm the proprietor from Juju's, which will be the tenant next door. Part of what got me really excited about this project is the fact that the triplex and I are so aligned with the community goals that we have in creating this central hub, as Sam explained, for just more downtown activity and excitement and spaces for people to be. So I'm thrilled that they're looking to continue to expand their offering there because it is such a wonderful spot. And as Sam said, with the tables outside across the street there, that service Fiesta and a couple of the other spots in the triplex or in the whatever that other building is there. My hope is to be able to continue to clean up that whole back area and for future things, whether it be events or questions regarding busking or farmers markets. I do think there's a huge opportunity to still play within the parking lot, but make it a centralized location for everybody to get to enjoy in the summertime. And I just wanted to touch on your comment as somebody who does have 2 liquor licenses separately about the ID checks. Restaurants, if somebody sits down in a restaurant, they're not gonna get their ID checked. And because Sam mentioned it's not bottle service where it's just free flowing, help yourself, it's individual cans. It's no different than somebody ordering beer across the street there at the picnic tables from Fiesta. In fact, it's almost more helpful that they would have to come in and order as opposed to having to order from the table. So I do think that there are, and I've pledged to help the triplex as an expert in the subject on finding ways to make sure that it's responsible and enjoyable, both for the business and the customer. And I think that there are plenty of other options for us to be able to figure out ways to make sure we're keeping safety as a high priority.
I did get kind of a smile, but I didn't get a confirmation. I understand you saying that, but that to me, it's pretty new venture, and a little safety first doesn't hurt until it's running well, and then you can maybe relax. And I would like to know that there's a double proof.
Yeah, and I would be happy to sit in with the triplex and you to discuss what those procedures might be, that anything. Just to be helpful.
Thanks, Josh. Anyone else to speak in favor or opposition?
I have one comment on that. It's a past one.
No, there was select board discussion. Do you want?
Oh, yeah, oh, wait.
Okay. Okay, a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote, Garfield.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I. Go ahead, Lee.
No, so this is, for me, this is a wonderful example of a community coming together and putting us on the map. And cooperation between 2 small businesses, and, you know, I can feel the energy already. So I thank you guys. I think everyone that's involved with, you know, both Triplex and Juju's and Richard Stanley and just everything that's happening in that court. I think it's just something that I think other towns will probably envy that we have this going on. So thank you very much. I'm, you know, truly excited and thankful. So.
Select board discussion.
Yeah, so similar, I'm pretty excited about all the new ventures that are going on in Great Barrington. I guess I just know, we just have to put some asterisks next to the grass section, right? That it's used only after properly barricaded or.
But what we'll do is put on the motion for ABCC regulation, because right now that is required,
Right,
but it may not be in another few weeks. Do
sounds good.
you have a motion?
I make a motion to grant a application for amendment to change or alter the premises to the triplex cinema for an all alcoholic liquor license at 70 Railroad Street in Great Barrington, per ABCC
Regulation.
regulation.
Do you have a second? Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Bringing back.
Congratulations. Okay, next, alteration of a public way, Elm Court, per general law, chapter 82, section 22, to consider whether to alter Elm Court, a public way, by removing from the layout a portion thereof abutting 9 Elm Court. Do you have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Yeah,
Second.
Second. Roll call vote. Larry.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I. An explanation, please.
So I can lead us off here. I'm not sure. I see Nick Ariante's on the line. I'm not sure if he wants to speak or not, but I just have a few notes to share with you. So the decision you're making tonight is part of a multi-step process. As you recall, the ZBA approved the special permit a few months ago, and you made a recommendation at that time for a special permit for the Du Bois Center, which allows them to utilize that portion or this portion here of town-owned property on Elm Court. We have a license agreement in place with them now, but since that can be revoked at any time, we thought it was best for the center to actually own the property and have the town vote to alter the public way. So there's a few steps, and I'll just go through those steps with you real quickly. The first step is that the planning board reviews and votes to recommend the alteration. They did that on April 25th. This is the second step tonight with select board review. And hopefully votes to recommend the alteration. And the final step is town meeting, which is next Monday, May 6th. And we hope that town meeting will vote to do the same and then authorize the select board to transfer the land at that time. So just for a little visual here, again, this highlighted orange section is the town owned property that is being proposed to be used by the Du Bois Center. And then blue line, the new outline here will be the town's right of way, the new right of way after tonight. So that's what you're approving.
Okay, anyone from the public to speak in favor or opposition? Select board questions. Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I. Select board discussion. Do I have a motion to adopt an order to alter the public way?
I make a motion to alter, approve the alteration of a public way at Elm Court for general law, chapter 82, section 22. By removing the layout of a portion thereof abutting 9 Elm Court.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I. It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, under new business, is a December 8th independent report.
So the independent investigation of the December 8th, 2023 complaint and response by our police department at the WEB Du Bois Middle School by Comprehensive Investigations and Consulting LLC has been completed. It's been delivered to the town. Share a copy of that report with all of you. And a copy of that report will also be released tonight by request. Anyone interested in receiving a copy can email me directly, mpravinsky@townofgb.org, and my email address is also listed on our town website. We'll also post it on our town website tomorrow, so it's available to everyone.
Sounds good.
Real estate exemption options. You're up.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So I'm here tonight basically to talk about the current real estate exemptions that we have, and also to propose one new exemption and the adoption of one new clause. So currently, we have a line exemption that's clause 37. Basically, if you bring in, your documentation from the agency of the blind, you're considered legally blind, you get a $500 exemption off your taxes each year. You only can bring in the information once, but you have to apply every year, anytime after July 1st. We always try to encourage people to come in before October, that way it comes off the third and fourth quarter bill. The second exception that we have are the veterans. We pretty much have most of those covered. I think the only one we don't have is a 22H. The 22H exemption, basically, normally, if you are disabled, depending on your degree of disability, determines how much of an exemption you get. If you're the surviving spouse of a deceased veteran, you could get all the way up to a complete full exemption. What a 22H does, instead of going to the spouse, it would go to the parents of a son or daughter who was killed in relation to a most, they threw it into the military. But we won't have most of those covered. Where I think we can do something different is with the senior exemptions. I mean, currently we have a 41C. That's $1,000 exemption. You come in every year, you bring all your financial information in, and you qualify, you get the $1,000. And then just recently, I think it was last year, we adopted the 41A tax deferral. And that's different. It's not an exemption, it's a deferral. You're basically deferring taxes. The limits on that, you have to have less than $40,000 in those receipts. And then it's 5% interest, and that defers the real estate tax until whenever you sell the property at some point in the future, and then those taxes are due at that time. What I would suggest, is a new real estate exemption is the 17D. The 17D, goes to, that's surviving spouses, minor children, or the deceased parents. Now, it's not a huge exemption out of the gate, it's only $175 for the first year, but that number increases every year based on the COLA adjustments and consumer price index, which comes down to us from the Department of Revenue. So even though it's a lesser amount, the qualifications are much lower also. So if you don't qualify for the 41C, you can most likely qualify for the 17D. And because we can adjust that number up each year based on the COLA numbers that come down from the state, that number will continue to grow, more people will qualify for it. And I mean, for some people, $175 may help them, and as that number grows, it could be 200, in the years coming, and want to go from there. The second thing would be is a 41C. Right now, we have a 41C option. What I would do is propose adopting a 41D. The 41D, allows us to increase the whole income, the whole assets limitations, and also adjust that number up by the COLA number that comes down to us from DOR every year. Both of these, would have to go to town meeting in order to be adopted. But I think by doing that, that gives us, 41C, 41A, the 41D, the 17D, plus the veterans and the blind. I mean, most towns have the blind and the veteran, those are pretty standard. And a lot of towns, will have these other exemptions as well. I think, by adding this additional exemption, an additional clause, it will open up to more people, our seniors, and hopefully help them. And if that's something this board would consider, we could certainly put it on next year's town meeting.
Yeah, I got a few questions and I guess a couple concerns. And my concern has always been with the 41C and this new 41D. It is like the time frame to pay it back, right? So say somebody signs up for the 41C, I don't.
That's not anything you pay back, that's an exemption.
The exemption, so what's the deferral then?
is paid back.
The deferral, the tax deferral one, what is that where it's 5%?
That's the 41A.
Okay, 41A.
That's the only one that has to be paid back.
Okay, okay.
The other ones are true exemptions.
So, and then, can you just give me a recap on the 41C then, because I must have
The
missed it.
41C right now, if you qualify financially, you get $1,000.
Okay, okay.
Right, 500 comes out the third quarter, 500 comes out the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
You come in anytime after July 1st to apply for it, you try, I mean, you technically have all the way till April 1st,
Mhm.
but if you come in before October, it'll come off your bill.
Okay. So then, with that being said, it just automatically comes off, and that $1,000 that comes off, does the state or anybody else reimburse the town for that, or it's
You
just
do get reimbursed, but not fully.
not fully? Okay.
A lot of these, you usually don't get fully reimbursed for.
Okay.
So there's, senior tax, so the requirements are the same, right? In terms of, okay, there's no different requirements for 41A and 41C and.
Right, and you still have to come in with the financial information.
Yeah,
The thing is, the amount can grow based on the cost of living adjustment, which is information we get each year along with social security adjustments from the Department of Revenue.
and we're pushing the highest threshold, like we're going as far as, that's high we can
Right,
go.
and that's what we want to do is push it.
And then if it
continue to
changes in
increase it,
state,
the
we'll,
cost of
we can
living,
go.
because we all know that's going to go.
Yeah. And is this something that you could, obviously, we're not gonna get it this time meeting, but something you could draft so that it's ready to, to
Absolutely.
go for next year, so.
Yeah, there's a
Obviously, it
form,
could be a different board, but maybe not. But,
yeah, there's a form where basically you just fill it in.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
but to go to town meeting.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, I just had a question for the vets, how many exemptions are there? You said there's.
Veterans?
Yeah. I mean,
Those-
not, just off top, you don't have to count them, but I'm just.
They go from a 22, A, B, C, D, E,
Oh, okay.
F, G, H.
Oh, okay, interesting. And we're using all those, we got them all
Except for the
checked,
H.
and that's something that you'll.
And then the H, the only town right now that has the H is Pittsfield. And I think Lanesboro is considering adopting the H because I think they had one person up there. They had a son that passed, and I knew the son wasn't married. So therefore it would go to the parents.
Okay,
Normally you do these things because you want to go to the spouse, but
okay,
if there is no spouse.
okay, so
by adopting
there's really
the
no
H,
reason
you go
not.
to the parents. And that's a full real estate exemption.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, now, and I'm not sure if this is the right form, but we are the governing body, if you will, for the senior tax deferral. And we can change that without going to the town meeting. And that's something I would like to look at. I would like to up the minimum to 45,000 and drop the 5%, either 4.5 or 4.
Ross, here,
I think like everybody is telling.
the top meeting.
But it was originally approved by town meeting, but my understanding is that the select board has the authority to modify those numbers, but I need to check with town council.
Well, we're not gonna do it tonight, but we'll put it on an agenda.
so your proposal is about 45,000 and 4%?
Right.
So we'll make it up.
Anyone else with questions?
I just, yeah, so we'll put that in next. Oh,
I won't say
agenda.
next.
Agenda.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Ross.
Yeah, this is huge. Thanks for bringing this in. Thank
Yeah,
you, Garfield, for.
I mean, I think, it'll certainly hopefully help more people. I mean, but like everything else, just as part of full disclosure, obviously, whatever everybody else isn't paying, somebody else is gonna make up. If we
Yeah.
don't get fully reimbursed,
Of course, yeah.
but that's the way it is. But I think, we can certainly adopt these and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Thanks, Ross.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Russ.
Review and comment the ZBA on the special permit application from Grigori Pekayev of AF Architects on behalf of James Hendrick for exterior alterations of a non-conforming structure, 232 Main Street, Barrington, the village. Center overlay district.
I think we sent you the drawings, the distributed, here's the, both sites are using it. Look at them. You're pleased to navigate the projection, so I don't have anything, sort of, no boards and no.
Yeah.
Projections.
Talk a little bit about the project, what the building's gonna be used for, that would be great.
So my name is Grigory Kateyev, and I'm with Art Homes Architecture, and on behalf of James Kendrick, and the work proposed at 232 Main Street, which is the library on the Main Street. It's a form of Masonic temple. And so we were proposing currently, and the reason we're here is because the ZBA is a permit. We were seeking a special permit from the ZBA to alter the facade of the building. Currently, as everybody knows, it's really blank facade. There's no windows, there's no openings, so a new client wants to, new owner, James, wants to open it up to the street, so it kind of has a little bit less new presence. So we're proposing a larger window on the east side facing the Main Street in the library. And a series of smaller windows on the north and south side. On the south side, it will be one window, just some sunlight, and on the north side, there's going to be a series of 4 windows. Also proposes renovation of the stair volume roof that's in the north east side of the building. And the roof is deteriorating and falling apart, so we need to rebuild it. The existing finishes of the building going to remain, so it's painted brick veneer, painted CMU, concrete masonry block unit walls, and some portion of stucco above the brick veneer. What we're going to alter in that is that we're going to change the metal coating on top of the stucco to match the stucco color. Right now it's falling apart clay tiles. And then to be able to expand across the veneer, we're introducing kind of metal frame around the big window in the veneer surfaces that also creates some shadow and depth to the window. So it's not just like a big opening, but it's actually protruding a little bit out of the facade of the building, and then the window itself is recessed in. So there's kind of depth to it. And since we're rebuilding the roof over the stair, we're just raising it by a few feet to create a clear story for the stair volume. And the finishes is going to be weathering steel, some of the lining elements of the building, so the frame around the windows and the fascia around the stairwell roof. And any proposed lighting is going to be following town's bylaws as far as the fully shielded downward lighting element. We're also proposing on the west side, we're proposing a slightly larger opening for the main entrance door facing the parking lot, and a canopy. Currently, there's a canopy that's supported by 2 poles, and we're going to have a canopy that's suspended from the building. That's pretty much it. We're proposing some alteration to the front yard because it's deep and sort of uneventful yard. We've taken advantage of the slight change grade across the yard. So we creating kind of sunken plaza in front of the building in proportion with the building, which will take about half of the front lawn. And the rest of the front lawn is going to be kind of seeded with the native ground cover. And we're replacing it used to be a beautiful old oak that kind of was gone now, and it's just giant stump. So we're planning to replace some of the trees in the front lawn in a kind of more unregulated pattern, using the town's list of trees, probably oaks and maples. And then outlining the plaza will be the privacy kind of breeze wall, so see-through wall. And the line with the wall is going to be a series of honey locusts to just give it some shade for the plaza in front of the building. So that's pretty much it.
Question, go ahead.
Thank you. So what's the use of this building, and is it
We're
changing?
gonna permit it with the building inspector as a B use for building. So business, it's a large kind of catch-all occupancy. It's gonna be private office, just for now, so it's a private office for upstairs, and for downstairs is probably, for now, is the auxiliary space to it, and then maybe we'll rent it eventually. Once it's rented, it's gonna have to come back to the building officials in town.
So private office for
Just entrepreneur.
okay, so it's not like sound studio or music or studio or drumming, whatever. And so the yard.
Just a large space to do whatever.
And the yard, is that just, what's the thought of that?
Part of the yard is actually, right now, we're kind of just reacting to the building.
Okay.
So the building needs windows, so there's hence the window, the proportion of space inside and outside, so it dictates the size of the window. It's same kind of as the yard. We're just recognizing that the yard is too big for the sort of facade of the building, so we kind of want to create a two-part division. Whether, but it's gonna be somewhat private yard, so the whole idea is create this one space that's somewhat related to the building and more private. Whether it's eventually becomes a sort of public space, that's gonna be something.
And
we should
what's-
dig it up question.
And what's the height of the fence that's gonna be
It's
public?
3'8".
Sorry?
3'8".
Oh, okay, so it's not like a huge
No.
wall, okay. So
No, and it's completely see-through, so as you can
Oh,
see in the
okay.
images,
yeah,
it's the blocks that are, geometric and kind of beautiful to create a pattern, but it's a
Yeah.
see-through wall.
yeah.
It's not an oppressive look.
What material is the?
It's like white cement. I actually have a second. That matches the surface of the building,
Okay.
so,
So that's,
so there's three of them
okay.
up and. they
Oh,
just
gotcha.
go across into the corner.
I was just worried it was like a huge fence then. I know you have the plan here, but, all
Barbed wire.
right. Well, I mean, I'm thrilled that there's something being done with that building. So, and I've seen your work before, so. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah.
Motion, please, for a recommendation to the ZBA.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Renewal for Access Corporation Agreement with CTSB.
So this is just the next step in our cable license agreement process to approve the local access agreement. And I think somebody from CTSB is here. When your mic gets open.
Hi, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, good evening. Richard Frederick. I'm the Executive Director for Community Television for the Southern Berkshires. And if you have any questions about our new contract, I would be happy to answer them for you.
Anything you want to add about it?
I'd like to thank the Cable Advisory Commission for negotiating the best possible contract at a time when legislation has not caught up with technology and while cable subscriptions are in pretty steep decline. I think they did a great job for us with the circumstances. I would just like to say that this new contract does not guarantee our existence for the next 10 years. It only guarantees 5% of cable subscriptions from the roughly 6,500 subscribers in the 5 towns we serve. So as Zumo is rolled out and people are pushed from their, or asked to move their cable subscriptions to streaming, we do not receive that 5%. So I have really big concerns over our funding over the next couple of years. And if you remember, I presented to you a few months back a presentation about the future of community media, where I explained how legislation is going to be very important for us in the next couple of years, so we can, Spectrum and Netflix and Hulu and places like that pay their fair share for using town infrastructure and public rights of way.
Thank you. Any questions? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the renewal access corporation agreement with CTSB.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Yeah.
Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next two are request from American Legion, Murphy Leary, Post 298. We want to make a motion on 1 and then 2.
Sure. I make a motion to approve the the request from American Legion Murphy Leary Post 298
Annual copy.
for the annual copy boot drive on May 18th, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Second.
Discussion? Rain date of May 25th.
That's rain date, May 25th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Next one?
I make a motion to approve the request from the American Legion Murphy Leary Post 298 for the Memorial Poppy fundraiser. Donations collected in Great Barrington and his time throughout May 2024.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Appointment to the conservation, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the appointment to the Conservation Commission of Ashley Van Dusen.
Second.
Just gonna say Ashley's here tonight.
Hello.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thanks
All,
for coming.
all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Next one.
I have to
Thank you.
recuse myself from the next item.
Do I have a motion for G?
For G, I make a motion to appoint Peter Most to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Got a second?
Second.
Discussion?
It looks like we have a fair size resume here.
Yeah.
We might be able to do it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Next one, please.
I make a motion to approve the proposed appointment to the Designer Advisory Committee of Bobby's.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. Thank you, Bobby, for stepping up and volunteering. Okay, next is citizen speak time, 3 minutes to discuss whatever's on your mind, either online or in person.
Mr. Bailey, you said you were gonna do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm gonna do it under select board time.
Okay.
I actually have his body here. Yeah. I appreciate you reminding me because I'm old, it's almost 8 o'clock and. Okay, anyone for citizen speak? Yeah, just go right up there.
Hi, I'm Karen Allen. I have a business at 8 Railroad Street that has been there for 18 years. I want to talk about, I realize that this may be a done deal for this year, but we feel it's important to have our voices heard in spite of the fact that we were unaware of the March 11th meeting, and I don't believe anyone who had a store on Railroad Street came to that meeting, where a decision was made to close the street yet again for a 4th year. So we just want to add our voices. There's only 3 of us here tonight, but of the group of stores that are on Railroad Street, we are a group of about 8 and growing, who have very, very strong and similar feelings about how detrimental this is to our businesses. We have spoken out about it in the past to various people involved in the closing of the streets during COVID. As difficult as it was for us after 4 months of forced closing and then months where not a single person walked into the store. And then bang, we were hit with the closing of Railroad Street on Friday and Saturdays in the summers, which is, as I'm sure you know, and we certainly know in spades, is, the be all and end all in a certain way of a lot of the businesses on Railroad Street in particular. So we grinned and bared it those 2 COVID years because honestly, we could see, in spite of how tough it was on us, that it was good for the town, that it was good for the restaurants, that it was good to get people out of their houses, sitting outside on the streets, at a time in which everybody had been very, very locked up, and at a time in which the restaurants really were having a rough time having people come inside and sit down. So we got through it. We hung in there, we got through it. But when we got to last year, and now in particular, when we're staring a 4th year in the face, personally, I don't get it. I understood it during COVID. I don't understand. I think there's a real misconception or a misunderstanding about the difference between the busk and closing Railroad Street. There have been busks on Railroad Street and on Main Street and all over downtown in Great Barrington since the eighties. I've seen them, and my store, which I opened in 2005, which brought me more immediately into Great Barrington in an ongoing way. People have been busking in Great Barrington forever, on the sidewalks in different places, over by the triplex, and there, you don't have to have a road closure to have a busk. And in fact, the restaurants now don't need to have, I mean, all of them, every restaurant, if you've noticed, that is now open on Railroad Street has outdoor space. Baba Louie's has the alleyway behind them. Vizen has, you know, the minute it's warm enough, they have 8 to 10 tables out on the sidewalk. The Elm takes up a few spaces. They don't really want to come out onto the street. It's not that kind of, you know, casual restaurant. Moon Cloud has the whole upper part of the street that they spread out on. That's it. I mean, those are all the restaurants, and they all already have outdoor space. And actually last year, the only person who came out into the street was Bizen. And they have lots of indoor space they're not even using. And they take up already a lot of outdoor space. So, you know,
Your time's just about up, just because I'm forced, I'm forced to, well, you have 2 other people who can speak also, so.
You can take some of.
No, I can't do that. There's a whole court proceeding that says if I give her 5 minutes, I have to give everyone for the rest of my life 5 minutes, and it's not something that I agree with, but the 2 of you can speak for 3 minutes apiece, and
Sure.
and I've already given her 4 minutes. Don't tell the court.
Okay. Well, we are not going to be silent as we go forward.
Not asking you to be.
This has been incredibly, I know everybody likes to say it's good for us. It's not good for us. It's never been good for us. Once you guys start to close the street, once that whole process begins, the threat of being towed, the whole thing that happens, honestly, hand on a Bible, not a person comes in our store, and I have the proof if you'd ever like to see it. And
Thank you
so
very
I
much.
just want you to know, it's not okay to say that this is good for the businesses.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Hi,
Go ahead.
Lonnie Griffin. I have the store Griffin on Railroad Street, very imaginative name. I have experienced, similarly to Karen, the difficulties with the busk and the street closure. And what I have witnessed personally that is of concern to me is, you know, we're a tourist-driven town. You know, we like to be there year-round for our clients and the people who live here all year, but we make our money in the summertime. And to see that people are being assailed, which that is the word I would use, about parking, even maybe a half hour before the actual towing begins, is really disconcerting. I've had customers come into the store and they're like, you know, am I gonna get towed? And they said if I don't get out of here in 15 minutes, but I thought they said it was 5:30. And it just, you know, the bottom line is it just sends completely the wrong message to our clients and the people that we want to have a great experience in Great Barrington, and not one where, you know, the cop cars come and there's this mad rush to take cars off the street. And, you know, we want to be, you know, to Karen's point, it's not against the bus, it's the interference, really. I think that my feeling is, even if it started later, you know, when most of the businesses close at 6 o'clock, most of the retail businesses, that could be a way forward. I also realize that this has also been decided evidently, but just wanted to give my 2 cents on it. And again, you know, I really feel like we are the stakeholders in Railroad Street. We invest in Railroad Street, our money, our time, and it's really discouraging that we have to fight for to be heard, I think, on this topic. And perhaps, you know, that's something that can be on us too. We weren't aware of certain agendas that were being discussed. We'll take that hit, but yeah, I think it's clear and it's shared, by many on the street. And unfortunately, only 3 of us could be here tonight, but that's it for me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So hi, I'm Paula. I have a Bernay Fine Art, that's on the corner of Railroad Street and Main Street. We've only been there about 3 years, and we moved from another part of town, hoping to take advantage of being in downtown Barrington. So the main things that go on in the summer in our gallery is we have a lot of gallery openings, which are usually later in the day. We have wine that we serve to our clients, usually 4 to 6 or 5 to 7, mostly on Saturday nights, which really is a big impact to our clients who essentially, because of the Railroad Street closings, really don't want to come to town on Saturday night. It's been very difficult to convince them. We have openings for different shows that we're doing, and again, I would reiterate what Karen and Connie said. I mean, we have nothing against the bus. Everybody thinks it's like Railroad Street retailers versus the bus. And I've sent a note to Gene, and I've tried to talk to him individually because I like Gene and I think what he's doing for the town is great. But the bottom line is we can have buskers all over the streets. We're not opposed to that. I actually like it. But the closing of the street is really detrimental to our business. And I know that, I was here last year. I happened to send a note to Mark in time to get here to speak to you guys. And I said, and we had a sort of discussion about the timing of the closing, trying to push it back as far as we could so that we could keep our businesses open in the summer. And I was just surprised that we weren't informed at all about the discussion, because it's something that's really important. These guys have been here forever. Their stores are, way better known than the Berkshire Busk is. And I just feel like our voice is not being heard for some reason. I'm not really sure. Again, we're not against the bus. The street closing is very problematic for our businesses. And I'm very concerned about the triplex that just reopened. Everybody in this town has been supportive of the triplex. Everybody wants it to be successful. And if we close the street, there's no way to get up the street to park. Not only on Railroad Street, on the top of Railroad Street, around the corner where people park. There's a sneaky way that Karen knows to go around the bank and in, but most people don't know that. I don't even know it. I've been in Barrington for many years, and I go up Railroad Street around and park in the back of the triplex. And I'm concerned for them. I'm concerned for us. You can say, well, it's too late this year, but we have businesses that are suffering. And I'm really concerned for our businesses. And I really wish that you guys would hear us, because it feels really strange that we can't get on the agenda. We have to come and sit through the meeting and talk at the end. I really don't understand why. We're part of this town. We love this town, and we're all for the bus, but we're just against the street closing because it's really affecting our businesses.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Select board time. So Claudia, sorry, I knew you were staying to the end, so it didn't matter. We got David's,
Is it gonna be on the meeting, Mr. Bannon,
I'm handing it to you.
or can you just say it in words?
Yeah, but I want to hand it to you too. I have a copy. So what David said,
Just read it out loud?
I'm doing it.
Okay, great, thanks.
This will confirm my communication to you, and this is about whether one of the citizens petitions not one of them was on a form that said it was a special town meeting. They were requesting a special town meeting. Mark, this will confirm my communication to you on Friday, April 26th, that it's my opinion that the petition article regarding community policing in the Great Barrington Police Department may appear on the warrant for 2024 annual town meeting. You informed me that there was a question regarding this petition because it was submitted on a form that refers to a request for a special town meeting and not a form that relates solely and explicitly to a request for inclusion of an article on the warrant for town meeting that has already been scheduled. Based on information that you and Town Clerk Messina have provided, it's my understanding the Town Clerk's office provided the form in question to some of the petitioners when they inquired about submitting a petition article appears that provision of the form that was used was inadvertent and simply an administrative oversight. The applicable statutory provisions in section 10 of chapter 39 of the general laws provide as follows. The selectmen shall insert in the warrant for the annual meeting all subjects, the insertion of which shall be requested of them in writing by 10 or more registered voters of the town, and in the warrant for every special town meeting, all subjects, the insertion of which shall be requested of them in writing by 100 registered voters or by 10% of the total number of registered voters of the town, whichever number is lesser. The selectmen shall call a special town meeting upon request in writing of 200 registered voters or of 20% of the total number of registered voters of the town, whichever number is lesser, such meeting to be held not later than 45 days after the receipt of such request, and shall insert in the warrant therefore all subjects, the insertion of which shall be requested by said petition. Cited General Law, Chapter 39, Section 10. These provisions describe circumstances under which submission of a petition requires, that's underlined, a select board to include a subject in the warrant for a town meeting or to call a town meeting. In my view, they do not preclude a select board from otherwise inserting an article in the warrant for a particular town meeting when requested to do so by a formal or informal petition. By virtue of GL Chapter 39, Section 10, it is a basic principle of municipal law that the warrant for a town meeting is a matter within the province of the select board. Every town meeting or town election, except as hereinafter provided, shall be included in pursuance of a warrant under the hands of the selectmen. I prefer select board, but okay. Accordingly, and under the circumstances, it is my opinion the petition article concerning community policing may appear on the warrant for 2024 annual town meeting and has properly been included in the warrant by action of the select board. David Dineski, Esquire. So that is.
So what you're saying, Mr. Bannon, is that it's not calling for a special town meeting?
That's what he is saying. Yes. He's saying the wrong form was used and that would not be a reason to preclude it.
So what, just so I'm very clear, it's going to be at the annual town meeting.
Yes.
It's a petition on police reform regarding genderqueer. It is in fact not calling for a special town meeting.
Right. And you know, at the special town meeting, at the annual town meeting, you can take it up with the moderator also.
If there's the opportunity.
Hope so. Select board time, Ben.
A lot tonight. Thank everyone for coming out. But I want to say thank you to Karen, Connie, and Paula for coming out, and giving me voices. I'm sorry you feel that you weren't included earlier. And it just as someone who does work in downtown, I want you to know that your voices are valued, and so I'm glad to have these conversations.
Yes, I would like to take up the issue of checking on the bus next year and maybe not closing the street. It's hard to ignore if there's 8 people, 8 businesses, that's a lot to ignore.
They will come up again next year.
And it needs to be looked at, and I think that's not an unfair thing. I'm sure you can bust all of the Great Barrington without closing the road and taking business, like 8 businesses. So I wouldn't mind that moves next year when it's appropriate.
Thank you. All right.
I'm good, thank you.
Please.
Similar to what Ben was gonna say, you know, you are valued and you are heard, and I want to make sure that, you know, we embrace all businesses in town. Sometimes there's compromises, sometimes we have to make a decision. But you are heard, and as Garfield said, this can come before us again, and hopefully we can find some middle ground or not a middle ground, but you are heard and you are valued. I'm very, very sorry that you were not aware of that on the agenda, so I just want to make sure that you have been.
What should we expect? Nothing, I guess, at this point, that this will, what do you recommend as the follow through for us?
I think a couple things, if I may answer. One is to keep us informed. We do appreciate you coming, and to, and we'll continue this discussion throughout the year, and it will come up again next year. And you can be sure you'll be invited.
Yeah, and I would love to know kind of some of the compromises and, obviously you've had discussions with Jean that we're not privy to. Whether you open early or, you put things on the sidewalk or, there's things that I have questions about, which I'm sure you've gone back and forth, but I would love to see some of the ways that have been brought forward to possibly compromise or keep that open and help you. Is there something that we can do to find a middle ground that everyone's happy?
Well, aren't
So-
there other places in town where they can have these?
Well,
So here's
it's
the
not your
problem, and I know
agenda,
this
so-
is not your
yeah.
choice to be at the end of the meeting, although you probably enjoyed it. We can't discuss it
Yeah.
in a back and forth here because, again, of state law. And that because it's not on the agenda, so it would violate.
Yeah,
So-
so that was
so-
a comment, open-ended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can we ask a question? Can I ask a question?
I may not be able to answer, but
Okay.
please ask.
Are the vendors a part of this experience this year that's set up right in front of our
Yes.
stores?
Yes,
Great.
she said.
Groovy, as they
Yeah.
say.
Sorry, media time.
So just keep you guys apprised if
Yes.
you have any other comments and we'll expect that we'll be invited to the
You will be
appropriate, great.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yes. Media time. By unanimous consent, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.